This is quiet horror. The first strange thing that happened on the cruise was that people kept thanking me for things I hadn't done. Small things, normal things, the kind of gestures you might forget within minutes. But the problem was, I hadn't done a single one of them. And the strangest part, the person who had looked exactly like me. It was our first cruise. My wife had planned it for months, a 7-day voyage across the Pacific. When our daughter first saw the ship docked in the harbor, she gasped. It was a leviathan of steel and glass. 20 floors of balconies, theaters, and azure pools. A floating city. The moment we stepped aboard, the air smelled of salt, expensive perfume, and a faint, lingering scent of cold metal. Everything was polished to a mirror shine. It was the kind of place where nothing bad is ever supposed to happen. At least, that's what I told myself. About an hour after boarding, I went to the front desk to confirm our dinner reservation. The receptionist smiled with professional warmth. "Sir, welcome back." I laughed politely. "Actually, this is my first time at the desk." She blinked, her smile faltering. "No, you were just here 10 minutes ago. You asked about tonight's seafood buffet." I shook my head, assuming it was a simple mistake. Thousands of passengers, similar shirts, tired eyes. It's easy to confuse people. I brushed it off. That was my first mistake. Later that evening, a staff member stopped me outside the main dining room. "Sir, the family portrait you took earlier has been printed." "What photo?" "I haven't taken any photos." He gestured toward a display stand lined with framed memories. "You were just here an hour ago with your family. We've placed it by the exit for you." My stomach tightened. At that exact time, I had been in the cabin, alone, unpacking luggage. I walked to the display. Dozens of smiling couples and sunburnt tourists stared back at me. And then I saw it. My family, my wife, my daughter. They were standing at the restaurant entrance, radiant under the lobby lights. And in the center of the photo stood me, or someone with my face. Same clothes, same watch, same slight slouch in the shoulders, but I had never stood there. Back in the cabin, I tried to sound casual. "Did you take a photo at the restaurant earlier?" My daughter looked at me like I was playing a prank. "Of course we did, Daddy." "When?" "Right before dinner. You were with us." She frowned, her voice slowing down as if talking to a child. "We even played that guessing game, the one where you tried to guess how many lifeboats the ship had." I had never played that game, but she looked at me with absolute, unwavering certainty. The next morning, the world felt tilted. In the elevator, an elderly man nodded to me. "Morning. Feeling better today?" "I'm sorry," he chuckled. "You told me at the bar last night that you barely slept. You said the walls in these cabins feel strange." I had never been to the bar. I had slept like the dead. That afternoon, the cabin phone rang. "Sir, this is ship security. You reported a disturbance near deck 11 earlier." "I didn't report anything." There was a long pause. "But you were here, sir. We have you on camera." In a windowless room filled with glowing monitors, they replayed the footage. There I was, walking down the hallway on deck 11, looking around nervously. I approached the security desk and spoke to the officer. But watching the screen, my skin crawled. The posture was slightly too stiff. The walk was a fraction too mechanical. It looked like me, but it didn't feel like me. It was like watching a dedicated actor rehearsing my life, but he hadn't quite mastered the soul of the character yet. That night, I finally told my wife everything. She listened in silence. When I finished, she whispered something that made my heart stop. "I thought you were joking earlier, when you left the cabin twice." "I never left." She stared at me, her eyes filling with a sudden, sharp fear. "You did. Once while we were supposed to be sleeping, I watched you walk out the door. On the third night, my daughter woke up screaming, "Daddy!" I rushed into her room, heart hammering. She pointed at the door, her small hand shaking. "He was just here." "Who?" "You. You were just standing there, looking at me." I bolted into the hallway. The long, carpeted corridor was a tunnel of silence. But at the far end, I caught a glimpse of movement. A man turning the corner. Same height, same beige trousers, same stride. Mine. I went back to security the next morning and demanded to see every recording of me. We pulled hours of footage. That's when we saw it. There were two patterns, two versions of me. One version, the real me, was always a few minutes behind. The other one was always there first. It was as if he knew where I was going before the thought even formed in my head. He was pre-living my life. Before we reached the final port, I cornered an older crew member. "Has this happened before?" He hesitated, looking around to ensure no one was listening. He showed me an internal incident report from 5 years ago. A passenger had claimed an identical twin, who didn't exist, was following him. The report ended with a single, chilling sentence. "Passenger missing. Last seen on deck 11. When we finally disembarked, I felt a wave of relief so strong I almost wept. We were off the ship. It was over. But as we walked through the glass terminal toward the parking lot, my daughter tugged my sleeve. "Daddy?" "Yes, honey." "Why are you still on the ship?" I froze. "What do you mean?" She pointed back toward the harbor, toward the top deck of the White Leviathan. Standing by the railing, looking directly down at us through the glass, was me. He wasn't waving. He didn't look surprised. He just stood there with a look of terrifying patience. He looked like he had been waiting for me to leave, so he could finally start being me. Some stories should stay unheard.